Wait, something's not right here. What's wrong? Why are you on a different bike? What happened to the other bike? We like the two-stroke. Blah, blah, blah. I like the two-stroke too, but when somebody else liked it more than I did, and they took it out of my garage. Assholes. Yeah, that's right. So my 300, my 450, and my 250, that was my wife's bike, all got stolen about mid-June. It really is a shitty feeling to walk outside and find that your garage is completely empty. I mean, super shitty feeling. I liked all my bikes, but I guess somebody else liked them more than I did, and fuck me for having my stuff all locked up in my own garage, right? Yep, I'm an asshole. So, this is the replacement ride. I say replacement ride, I mean the ride that fully and far exceeds all my expectations for having any kind of replacement ride anytime soon. This is my 2017 Husqvarna FC350. Say hello. This is a first ride out on it. I hadn't ridden it at all. I'd only had it for about 12 hours when we took it out to this ride. Set up some ergonomics for myself and just go out and start trying to rip. And it's going to take me a minute to get used to riding a four-stroke again. I came off of a YZ450 that I turned into a Supermoto, but the YZ450 is a totally wrong bike. This is a totally different animal, and I'm already fairly comfortable on it. It's going to take me a minute to get used to some of its characteristics. You'll be able to see in this video where my little failures are. Mostly it's to do with really technical sections, and I'm not talking about like pine woods or tight stuff. I can do all that. The biggest problems that come up with me on this bike are hill climbs, actually, because I don't know how to attack them on a four-stroke. I would do it differently. The things I got to get used to about this bike are the power delivery, and I got to get used to the four-stroke thing again. I'm not used to having very much engine braking, and I'm not used to the power delivery, which is insane on this bike. It's like 54 horsepower stock or something like that, which is just insanity coming out of a 350 that revs at 14,000 RPM. I got to get used to that too, because I can ride it in almost... I mean, I rode my 300 in third gear all the time, but that wasn't because I wanted to. It was because something got fucked up on it. I ride this bike in third gear because it goes to 14 grand and I can just go up or down as far as I want.
Oh, God. You did? Now?
Yeah.
You okay?
Got it. I squared off the front wheel.
But either way, this is going to be a whole different ride for me to get used to. This is going to be my race bike, and I'm gonna do as best I can on it. I think it's gonna be a pretty good setup once I get used to riding it. The story about the theft is just that I put my bikes in my garage. I actually went to go ride. It was on a Monday. They were stolen. I rode that Sunday, and the 300 wasn't even clean. And I roll it into my garage, button everything up, go to bed like normal. Wake up the next morning, get ready to go to work, and then they're all gone. My wife comes back inside and tells me, Zach, all the bikes are gone. It's a super shitty feeling, by the way. The guy in front of me is Keith, and he's the reason I ended up with this bike. Both Keith and Josh are really good about letting me borrow their stuff and see if I could get used to riding a 350 just as a replacement bike. And I'm actually kind of surprised that I was able to, just because of the nature of the beast. It's just a totally different ride than the 300 ever could have been. And like I said, I loved my 300. I actually looked pretty extensively at trying to get a different bike that was similar to my 300, if not an exact replacement for my 300. But I really wanted to move forward, but the problem is that I was having a hang-up with 4CS suspension. That was my real hang-up with getting it. I would probably ended up with another 300, but 4CS suspension is just so terrible that I didn't even want to have to deal with trying to get replacement suspension or trying to make it work well enough for me. Which, I mean, I'm only like a Vet C rider, so it's not like I'm really going to be, hammering down on my suspension, but it's just something I didn't want to contend with right away. And being able to jump into this bike with the AER forks, I had no expectation, it's just not something I was ever thinking I was going to end up with. And I'm just super over the moon about it because I get to experience what it's like to have almost a brand new bike. All the technical stuff like tight trees, all of the normal riding that I enjoy doing, I can do that pretty well on this bike without really having to think about it, which is a really, really nice feeling. I don't have to re-evaluate my entire riding style because this bike is just a four-stroke. It lugs real low, the Recluse makes it really manageable, But it's one of those bikes where it's like, if it gets away from you, it's gonna bite you hard, and I just gotta remember that and be able to reel it in when I need to reel it in, but then also let it stretch its legs when it's ready for that, because this thing gets up quick and it likes to go fast. So hopefully I can make some improvements over what my finishes were before, because just doing this normal trail riding stuff, I really had no complaints. The only thing that I could really see that was different from this bike, from my 300 to this bike, was just things. Mostly it was hill climbs, and I really had big issues with hill climbs. The first couple times I had to attack them because I could do it differently on the 300. There was something about the power on the 300. It was like you could just sit back and dig and the thing would just go. And while this bike's got gobs of torque and power, my approach has to be different. I have to go into it with more momentum and have my body in the right position to be able to carry me up the hill while staying on the gas. And it's just, I don't know, it might just be me. I may be just blowing smoke, but it's something that I really just need to try and get used to, because I'm overall, and I'm 99% happy with this bike. There's nothing that I don't like about it. And then I was able to find one with a street title, so there's a possibility that it's going to turn into a supermoto. A big possibility. Like 100% possibility that I'm going to buy supermoto wheels for this bike and go to the Dragon on it, because some asshole stole my 450 supermoto out of my garage. We get on this tight off-camber stuff, something I didn't expect, and this bike handles it really well. The only thing that I can see I may need to add that this bike didn't come with, what this bike is lacking, is a fan. So I didn't boil it all on this. I didn't even have a hint that it was trying to boil over. But I think for some of the garbage I like to ride, where it's real tight, super steep, or something where I'm going to be spinning, I think it's going to be good for me to add a fan kit to this bike eventually. I hate how GoPro makes everything look so flat. This hill is friggin' gnarly. Like, I don't think I could ride back up that hill. And if that hill is vertical for like a good 8 feet of the hill, and then it takes not a hard left turn, but it takes enough of a left turn that the first time I did it, I shot into the woods and missed the trail completely. Also, fuck that jump. Whoever decided that was a good idea, it's down a hill into the face of a hill. Like, you go down a hill, jump off the downhill into an uphill face. That's a terrible play. Terrible play. I want everybody to welcome me with open arms to Team White KTM, even though my bike has black plastics and some fancy graphics on it. But man, I'm really excited about this bike. I'm ready to race it. I'm ready for the Cherokee Enduro. I was really kind of bummed out because I thought I was going to miss my chance to be able to go race that race. But now with this bike, I'm excited. I think I'm going to be able to do better than I finished before. The only other Enduro I've ever run, I got second in my class, so maybe I can finish this next one with the first place. That'd be really nice. Also, not having to worry about gas is cool, because I was sucking down so much gas on my 300 that I had to get a giant tank for it. But now with this bike, it doesn't use much gas, so cool. I've also never had a fuel-injected dirt bike. It's a great feeling. Like, it just starts and runs. It's like, there's no fiddling with anything. It's already been tuned. Don't do shit to it. Just run it. And then that means if I go to Colorado or go somewhere and ride and bring this bike, I don't have to mess with any of the, like, jetting or the fuel screw or any of that stuff. I'm actually really, really excited about it. I'm a big pansy when it comes to jumps. I sat here and stared at that jump for a long time and still never did it. I think next time we go out there, I'm going to do it. It's not that big of a jump. I just need to hit it and shut up about it. I think the thing that I would miss from my 300 was that it felt almost more luggable than this bike. Like, it would get lower down into the RPMs and was more usable low down. So I could get it really, it might have actually been a disservice to me as a rider that I could just get down into these really low RPMs and just kind of crawl with my clutch. This bike doesn't feel like it wants to do that as much. It feels like it wants to be, revved to the moon, which I think is where all the power's made anyways. But with a Recluse and all this grunt stuff on it that makes it have a little bit better low end. It still feels like it wants to be ridden a little faster than I think I'm ready for yet, but it's like I said, this is just a thing. It's going to be a learning process. I'm going to have to get in and get some seat time and really actually push real hard with this bike and learn it and go and ride it a lot, because I really am so far enjoying it, and I really only have like 2.5 hours of ride time on it. About it. It's always nice to have to like broaden your horizons and make changes to your ride style and how you can adapt to different equipment just based on what you're riding. So this video isn't anything special. It's just a update about what's going on with my life and new bike and all that good stuff. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you again. There'll be a video for the Cherokee Enduro, and we'll see you then and again at Mid-East in August. Peace.